Good afternoon. Now we're going to try that again. Good afternoon. That's better. I got to hear a little excitement. My name's Vinnakota. I work at the Aspen Institute, just started there recently to start a whole new division or platform focused on youth engagement, leadership development, civic engagement, and social justice. And I'm excited and honored to be here today, this evening, with one of our guests of honors, Common. And I'm not only excited because of Common's great breakdance moves that he showed off with Michael Strahan recently, also because of his ability to lip sync Lionel Richie with the best of them, because he's a great hip hop artist and actor, but most importantly to me, because he is a thoughtful advocate for the social issues that are impacting him both in his hometown and in the United States. So please join me in welcoming Common. I had to get the Lionel Richie in there.
I know.
I hope you don't mind.
We were on the side like Lionel Richie breakdancing on Kelly and Michael, but you ain't mentioned nothing about Oscar or Grammy or nothing, man. I guess that's my credentials, right?
More people have won Oscars than breakdanced with the Michael Strahan.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm just joking.
That's okay. So I'd like to jump in this idea that I discussed, which is the idea of personal responsibility first, before we ask the students to come up and join us and talk education. When you spoke last year at this event, you said, and you quoted Ambassador Andrew Young, who came and talked with the whole crew of Selma and said, "What are you willing to die for? Live for that," and kind of as a challenge to everyone involved. So tell me, what are you willing to live for?
Well, I think the most important thing I live for is God, for love, to inspire. And what I live for is actually I'm constantly evolving in that. Like, what does it mean to live for God? What does it mean to live in love? What does it mean to live to inspire? Sometimes it grows as I grow. Mm-hmm. I learn more, each day is a lesson. But those are the things that I know I'm living for, and I'm living to help the future through those things.
And so you have a foundation. Where do you focus that energy and time?
Well, I mean, I have a great team, to be honest, who really makes sure the daily operation of the foundation is running correctly and well. Not just correctly, but well, and being productive, and we are growing too. And actually, my mother, who is always, she always is dedicated. Right? She's a star and lights it up. She is one of the people who sparked the whole. Thank you. One of the people who make sure through that dedication is rooted in her dedication is rooted in what our foundation is about. Like, she always has been about helping out the youth, and I think that translated to me, and I know that everybody that's part of our organization is for that, and that's what they're committed to.
Yeah. We have a new generation of artists, you, John Legend, come to mind, who are really leaning in on this issue of social responsibility, personal responsibility to make a difference. What do you see as the role of the artists, entertainers in social and pushing some of these issues in society?
I mean, the artist's responsibility is uber important, because art influences so many people. If I look at musicians and think about how much music has influenced me and how much I've seen it influence people that are not even participating in the arts, but just how it shapes the thinking of a teenager, of a young person or an adult, like just what music, or I just got to see the Sistine Chapel, and seeing that was it influenced me. It was inspiring. So I think the job of an artist is to truly be a truth teller, to be a seeker, and to offer that, because you have the platform to be that change and to be inspiring that change and to say something. So it's the immediate job of an artist to do that.
So let me take that a little bit further, right? I mentioned a couple, including you, who are involved in this. It seems to me that many artists and entertainers are not, right? They're not leaning in. So what's going on there? What's the challenge?
Well, I think the challenge is, and I could speak for me. When I initially began music, it was for my own glory, for lack of a better word. It was this is my dream. This is what I want to do. This is what I love to do. And it's still something I love and want to do, and I still enjoy being on stage, and it is still something that I feel like I get some pleasure in being an artist. Yeah. But as I started to develop and started to see the effects that this music could have, or films and storytelling could have, I realized it was a bigger platform, and that was even more fulfilling, to be able to offer something that you love to do, and it still is like bettering life, it's bettering people in the world. That's when you aligned with a purpose, and that's what I figured that happened for me. Now, I'm saying that to say an artist's journey, when an artist starts, it's not always going to be like, I'm here to save the world. But sometimes they grow into that. And many artists that we see that you can kind of stereotype as like, oh, this person is always rapping about money or singing about, you see them as the big pop star. Some of them go back and contribute things that we don't even know. Like, they are active within their own communities. And just recently, a group of artists, including myself, had a meeting at the White House with the president, and we're really like involved in what we can do to help my brother's keeper and the prison reform situation that's going on. And it was a really powerful thing to see artists that you wouldn't expect in there really adamant and voicing their opinion and really wanting to be a part of the change. So there are artists, I like to focus on the artists that are about that, because some will grow into it if they're not.
So you tell me that part of this is maturity. Part of this, so we've got a group of people here of a universe that are trying to change and improve the fundamental precepts around education, right? And many students also who are here who are really moved by artists. How do they connect with people like you or the people who are at the White House so that there's more engagement? Well,
I think, first of all, it's important that they identify what artists they really want to connect with, like doing that by being aware of what is out there. So they can say, well, you know what, this is a great artist for me to connect with. And they might not even be squeaky clean, but they have something to say. And you identify that. And I mean, it also takes whomever the educator is really building something that's strong. So when you present it to the artist or present it to whomever that entertainer, athlete, or whomever you're using to help engage the younger people, you have something that's valid, something that's fresh, something that's good. Like, I'm always intrigued when somebody comes with something that feels fresh and feels new and feels like a good idea and it feels effective. So, I mean, I'm basically saying you have to have that really good idea and program, and when you have the opportunity, you present it to the artist or their management team in a quick and precise way. Yeah. And hopefully they'll respond. I mean, it's great to identify, put it this way, it's been people who have wanted to have me participate with something, and initially I didn't, but eventually I came back to it. So that pursuit is necessary too. If you're really adamant about getting that particular artist or an artist, then you got to keep pursuing them, because when you do have something of value, it will connect with that artist at some point in time.
So I know from my own experiences when I led the seed schools that a lot of it was also getting the artists to the schools so they could actually relate to it. Yeah. You're incredibly busy, right? And you have tons of things tugging at you. Kind of, what's the advice for how to get to someone like a Common, to a Kanye West, to a John Legend who has so many things? I'm not asking about those specific people, but I'm trying to help the great ideas that are in here and the great students figure out how to create the connection. What's your advice to them?
I think the advice is to really have something great. And if you're trying to capture a Kanye, you got to do something that's bright, something that's really sparkling and
really sparkling.
Really sparkling. I mean, in a way that has to be something forward and progressive and he responds to those things. You know, I can't say he's gonna show up at each and everybody's school, but I do know that like he cares, and artists like John Legend, I know you was talking about artists of those likeness, but people like John Legend participate in a lot of things. It's just about reaching out to their teams, reaching out to their management, and having something that's different, because they are approached by, or I'll say we are approached by several people every week. Like, hey, I want you to speak at this school. I want you to be a part of this program. Hey, this person knows your mother, this person knows your mother's hairdresser, who knows, you know, can you speak here? You get that.
Are you bringing barbershop in there?
Plug for barbershop.
Exactly. He's
good. No, but I mean, yeah, it's just about having things of value. I feel like something I wanted to say when I answered your last question is like, say you pursue an artist for a long time and that artist doesn't respond. Everything is divine order. It's like the artist that does respond is the one that you want there. Even though you might be like, I need Lady Gaga there. And then let's say Kanye shows up.
Wow.
That might be more of a treat for everybody.
That's right.
Yeah, but you know, the point I'm making is if one artist doesn't make it there's always someone who can be there, who can contribute to the things that you want. I mean, the ultimate goal is engaging the kids. That's the thing. It's not so you can meet Beyonce, even though you might want to meet her and you know, take a picture and stuff. But ultimately, you all are here. We all here for the same purpose, to elevate the youth and to give them better ways to learn. So, like, I think whatever artist you can get there, get somebody that's going to engage them and show them your way.
Great. Thank you. So I'd like to switch the conversation a little bit to talk about a phenomenon that's sweeping the nation. I'm not bringing up Trump. I'm not bringing up Bernie. But rather Hamilton.
Yes.
So I hear that, absolutely. I hear that you're obsessed by Hamilton. You're working with Lin-Manuel Miranda on the Hamilton mixtapes. Tell us a little bit more about what you're doing there.
Yeah, well, Hamilton, for those who have seen or even haven't seen, is, I think, one of the best creations I've ever seen in my life, best pieces of art, one of the most impactful things I've ever experienced. I've seen it 3 times. I wanted more tickets. I wanted to see it again. They told me, look, you wearing out your welcome. So I made sure I got on the mixtape so I can go back and say, hey, can I get some more tickets? The mixtape is really Hamilton, the songs that are written for Hamilton. They took different artists who they appreciate, who Lin, who's the creator, appreciates, and had us interpret the songs. The song that I did was a song called Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story. And I really loved that song when I watched it in the theater, every time. And it was just, I was so happy they asked me to do that song. So getting to participate with this, I mean, for those who haven't seen, you know, this play has touched the world. It's swept the world. He just won the Pulitzer Prize, right? Yesterday, it just won that. But I mean, everybody he's been in the White House performing it. The president had an event there, you know, Meryl Streep, Ice Cube. The range of people that go see Hamilton and how many people is affected is really profound. And I'm just happy that piece of work is getting out there. And Lin is somebody I actually got to work with on a movie. And we were freestyling together. And I knew he was good, because usually when I'm freestyling with people, I don't feel like, oh, this person making me be better. I gotta get good like this. He had that type of like, where I was like, wait, I can't play around. This dude is good. So, and you know, we had a great time doing this film, and we had a freestyle session where at lunchtime. So I got to know him. But you know, once I seen the play, I went back and talked to him, and it's just genius, man. It's not many. I'm not gonna use the word genius a lot. You know, I can't say I've experienced many geniuses in my lifetime, but this play, this theater, and what he's created is genius.
So, unless you're President Obama and can actually get the show to come to your White House, or you're Common and can get there 3 times, what advice would you give us for trying to get tickets?
Well, Well, you really better use your connections. And say you got a purpose, you better,
That's right.
you might want to, try to use the excuse you trying to learn from them so you can enhance your education with the kids. Which you really could really be a real reason, but might want to use that.
You think they'll believe me if I say I want to do some mixtapes?
Nah, I cannot tell a lie.
So to me, the part of the genius of Hamilton is that you've got my 10-year-old daughter walking around the house, and she knows every word of every song and now knows about the Founding Fathers. Yes.
I think what touched me a lot about Hamilton was, growing up, I didn't feel like American. As a young black kid, I didn't feel like I'm American. I didn't want to hold that flag up. And when President Obama got in office, I felt more American. And it was helpful because I started to realize we all in this together, and in a way that's not like, by that point, of course, being exposed to other cultures, it wasn't such a big, I can't socialize with other nationalities, but it was like being a part of America and feeling that American pride and thought and appreciating what America is. Well, when you see Hamilton, you get a great appreciation for America and its founding fathers, the people who stood up, and women, and I think that's one thing the play did. It showed you the importance of women in the history, and it did that by, first of all, just being so great with the songs. The songs they are catchy, they're contemporary, they use contemporary methods, but they're very catchy songs. As you said, your 10-year-old sings those songs. I don't cruise around usually playing musicals in my truck, It's just, I'm serious. It's not like something that I would do and feel cool or anything about. But Hamilton is one that I bought. I bought the music, I can ride to it, and I can sing. I'm singing about Alexander Hamilton in my truck. So when you make history that cool, make it that fresh, you deliver it in a fresh way, you choose a black man to play George Washington, you have a Latino brother playing Alexander Hamilton, you have multicultural women playing the wives and the sisters. What's the sisters' names? I don't remember the names, but when you have multicultural people playing, it made me look at American history and say, hey, we all a part of this. I realized that these guys went through struggle. It wasn't just like George Washington, our great hero. It was like, yes, George Washington is a hero, but he also worked hard and went through different things. Hamilton was an immigrant who came here and made things happen. So it was a different way to relate to these founding fathers, which brought more of American history into a personal level, which makes you appreciate it. Anything, any story or thing that's told where you can relate to it, you'll digest it more. So I knew more about Burr and Alexander Hamilton than I ever learned in any history class, from this 3-hour, 2.5-hour musical.
Yeah, and that's our challenge for everyone, to make, education as joyful. So.
Well, y'all better work on your raps. You better.
So let us now actually move, speaking of Americans, we're going to ask 3 students to come up. They are Jasmine Johnson. Jasmine is currently involved with Road Trip Nation. It's a company designed to help students find themselves through self-exploratory road trips. She first became involved with Road Trip 3 years ago as one of the first 4 first-generation college students featured in the documentary Why Not Us? And following publication of that documentary, Jasmine traveled the country with Road Trip Nation, presenting the struggles of first-generation college students, helping rural and first-gen students stay in college, and closing the gap between education and technology. She's currently a senior at the University of South Carolina, Columbia, completing her bachelor's degree in mid-level education, science and social studies concentration, and she'll begin her master's degree in the summer at Liberty University in educational technology and online instruction. She is available for employment very soon to all of those involved. Stephonia Shibre was born in Ethiopia and came to the United States not knowing any English at age 8. Currently a sophomore at Herbert Hoover High School in San Diego, Stephonius has maintained a 4.0 GPA since the 7th grade. He's also a member of Reality Changers, a program that builds first-generation college students, and is set to win his second $4,000 scholarship to attend UC San Diego this summer for a special residential program for high school students. He plans to major in marine biology. Gosh, it's early to marry. And has his sights set on attending an Ivy League school and hopefully Princeton University. That's just my part of it. And then finally, Mackenzie Scott is a senior at Rancho Buena Vista High School. In addition to a rigorous academic schedule, she's actively involved in her school and community. She's a member of the Student Leadership Program, a Wave Pact ambassador, a dancer in the school's competitive dance team. She's also involved in her church, community, and in theater since she was a child. She's had countless leading roles, and after graduation, she plans to attend a four-year university and major in theater management. Please welcome Mackenzie and Jasmine and Sophonius. So this is the fun part. I get to sit back and go for it. So Jasmine, why don't we start with you?
Okay, the first question I wanted to ask was, you seem to have a very good balance on business and social impact. How do you find that balance?
Well, I think it starts first with knowing who you are and believing in who you are, and at the same token, like I said, continuing to learn and realizing what that can be, that social impact can be, and being grounded in that. Because there's times where I get tempted to do certain things. It's like it's going to be more of a business move, and it's a better business move. But for some reason in my life and my work, the things that have been most effective for me are the things that I stay grounded in my social impact, or just stay grounded in my truth. Like a good example is being a part of Selma. Like, I didn't even know I was going to even get a chance to have a role in the movie, and having a role in the movie helped improve me as a person. But then I was able to go on and write Glory, which was written from the heart, but it took us to other places, the exposure of that song. So I guess I stay first. It's like seek the kingdom first. I seek what I'm grounded in first and let all the rest be added. The business comes after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
So I got to jump in. That's an incredibly mature answer. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 45, you're 44. Yeah. But I mean, to a teenager, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of, where do they get their grounding?
Well, I think, your grounding is going to come from you, like I said, like learning who you are, starting to learn the things you like, mm-hmm. and really being able to express those things and saying, taking time away from your friends and even sometimes what the elders may say, well, you should do this, you should pursue that, and really taking time to see what you really are about and what you really care about. And when you know what you care about, then you can say, okay, I want to go pursue this, and you will have to work other jobs before you reach that place of your passion where you can make that a profession. You will have to do that most of the time. But it's okay. You just stay grounded and continue to learn and know that you don't have to have all the answers or know everything you want right now. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know I wanted to be an actor till I was like 27, 28. And that's when I started studying. So, and that's still a journey for me, but there's new things that I'm learning that I want to do. So it's just about discovering those things you're passionate about and then saying, okay, I'm going to put the business to it by finding out how to make this a profession for me.
Great.
In a world that's filled with a lot of prejudice and war, do you believe that education is the key to solving that?
Oh, yes. I feel education is, education allows us to solve a lot of things, because I think it solves everything, to be honest. Because when you're educated about certain things, as long as you really receive the education, then you're able to operate from a place of like, okay, I know why this person is acting this way. I know why, this country is functioning like this. So I don't have to act in opposition to that. Meaning, it's many times like I can be in in an argument with somebody, but if I know the root of the argument, if I'm educated on why this person is feeling this way, then I may just step back and say there's no reason for us to argue. I understand. That's education, is just even being communicated to properly and understanding the information about an individual. Well, education about a particular place and the struggles that a place has went through, education about who you are will help you to function in the world and really be like, okay, I don't need to be out here opposing people. So when you apply education to solving war, that's how I think it can help. I mean, obviously, it's things like ego and you know, money-hungry people that keep the wars going sometimes. But when it comes to us and what we can do, if the more educated we are, the more we can solve a lot of issues within our communities. And as we educate the people within those communities, they solve their own issues. So I think education is the root, the key.
Mackenzie?
What advice would you give to a graduating senior who wants to start her own theater company?
Start your own theater company.
Yes.
I think that's a great idea. It is. And I think that you will accomplish that if that's what you're saying you want to start. I think it's important that you study theater is like every day work towards learning about theater, you yourself participating in it, and figuring out like, okay, this is what I want to do in it. I want to be an actress, or I want to actually be a producer of theater, or I want to be a set designer. Right now, I think you're studying as an actor, right?
Yeah.
You may be able to participate in more than one of those things, but it's important that you just get as much education on what theater is, and then like start picking out real talented people that you've met along the way. Yeah.
That connection. I'm in Lindman.
Yeah, smart. That's right.
I
That's
need
right.
some Hamilton tickets.
That's right. I ain't mad at you. I'm with you. I'm gonna use you as an excuse.
Perfect. I would love to go see Hamilton with you.
Well, yeah, I think, I have to be open and honest enough to say I have yet to do theater myself, but I'm looking forward to it. That's one of my goals, is to do theater. So maybe it'll be in your company. But you got to get your company soon.
Give me like 4 years, and
Yeah.
I'll get it together.
All right, great. But yeah, just learn as much about theater as you can and connect with the right people. And also know what your theater is about. Like, know what type of product you want to put out there, or for that lack of better, art you want to put out there. That's what we had to figure out when it came to our film and television company, is that we had to say, hey man, we really want to put out stuff that means something, that's high quality. And we're striving for that, and that's what our goals are. But you got to get that vision for whatever your company will be, your theater company.
Jasmine?
Okay, I listen to you speak a lot. This is actually the second time that I've heard you speak at GSV, and you give a lot of positive messages to the community. What is the message that you're actually trying to get out to my generation?
Well, I think to your generation, I say that you all are like the world changes. Like, for real, the world changes. You all have so much access to great things, and once you sort through all that and use, your own experiences to be like, this is the information we do need, these are the things that we can be beneficial, and not using that access really excessively, you all are the ones who I think are shifting the world, because it's a good time now. Like, we've seen young people standing up for social injustice. We see young people coming up with companies, startup companies is eventually making billions. I mean, we got more young billionaires than we've ever had, I think, now. So all those things and ideas that you all are privy to and getting exposure to, I mean, now you have the time to put those ideas with things that really mean something. And I mean, you all will be the ones who change the world for the better. I think we all been on the journey trying to do it, but now it's like you all's time to do it. And not saying I'm 44, us 44-year-old people we still got to do what we got to do. Whatever age you are, we still the ones are contributing to the world too. But we got to feed them, and at the same token, be open to their ideas, because they're seeing the world from a new place too, which can feed us. So it's up to y'all. Y'all the world changers.
How do you keep your belief so strong in an industry that could be so dangerous to you?
I keep my belief strong because of my spiritual belief. I make sure that that's what I do first. Like, if I wake up in the day thanking God and being grateful for the day, even though some of those times where you're just not feeling good about the day. Like, I had one of those days yesterday. It felt funny, but I still was just grateful for the day and was thankful. And I think that belief and that relationship with the Creator, whatever religion you choose, but your relationship with the higher being is very important in functioning in a business that can lure you with all the things of the world that seem so good, whether it's money, and money is not a bad thing, but I'm saying the abuse of money, whether it's, women, for a male, or, and all the things that could be out there. There's drugs out there that can get you, but you kind of really got to be grounded in what your purpose is, grounded in your belief in spirituality. And I always remembered, because I grew up on the south side of Chicago, not like poor or anything, but just with access to, either I can have access to drugs or I can have access to great education. And I always, no matter how much I got around gangbanging and drugs and got in some trouble, I always remembered I had a purpose and something that I wanted to achieve. So, keeping your eyes on that prize, even when you know you've messed up and you had a tough night one night, where you did something wrong. Not just at night, but just, you did something wrong. Let me get this straight. You had a rough day, you made some mistakes. You correct those things and know you can get right back on track through your belief in your purpose of who you are.
Should I ask your mom what she did when you...
Yeah, you can ask her. She gave me whippings. Wasn't too much talking, it was whippings. We was real politically incorrect, but very effective.
Thank you.
How do you market yourself and your company?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
How do you market yourself and your company?
I market myself, to be honest, I think by just going out there and being quality. Like, I think the most quality marketing you can have is really have something valuable and make it quality and make it like valuable in a way that's like, okay, I'm just gonna use my music as an example. Throughout my career, first couple of albums, it was never like the big hit selling music. It wasn't on the radio a lot, but I just stuck to what I believed in and stuck to what I loved to do and what I knew what my brand was, who I was. And at the time, I wasn't even using the word brand, but I knew what I was about, so I continued to do that. That eventually was organic marketing. It developed an audience and a following that said, this is what we like. We like this. Now, you're not always going to get the masses sometimes when you do that type of marketing, but it's times where you bring out certain things. Let's say, use an album. You bring out an album and it does attract a wider audience, but you still stick to what you are about. I don't think it's up to a brand or an artist to leave their core to reach an audience, because the next year they'll always have that. If you reach for like a pop thing, like say Katy Perry got this big song out and you want to try to repeat that song, it might be popular for that year. But if you don't offer the audience they don't know who you are, and you just basically another, just product that's out there. I call it the Cabbage Patch Doll theory. I know you don't remember Cabbage Patch Doll, but they were the popular dolls at one time, Cabbage Patch Dolls, right? And then after, every kid wanted them, every little girl wanted them, but the next year was a new doll. And then the next year was a new doll. And there wasn't anything the matter with the Cabbage Patch Dolls, but you don't want to be a Cabbage Patch Doll. You want to be something that's very organic and pure, and you want your brand to be that. So I market myself by being as pure as possible and aligning myself with people who are smarter than me when it comes to marketing, because I won't claim to be the marketing genius, you know?
So before we ask the students, ask one more question and then turn to the audience, there's a theme here that you've talked about, kind of about being a constant learner, like from the work that you're doing, you're teaching yourself, kind of where does that motivation, how do you constantly keep yourself learning and getting better?
That's, I think, you know, it's funny, I was thinking of somebody, I was having a conversation with someone just recently, and I was talking about how my mother used to make me do book reports or, you know, and that was important. You know, at the time I was like, I ain't feel like doing it, but then I started finding books that I really liked, you know, like Encyclopedia Brown or whatever those books,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
I used to read those books and
They don't know Encyclopedia Brown either.
I feel bad that I'm using older references.
I'm liking it.
I thought I was supposed to be cool and say some young stuff. I don't even know. I can't even think of anything that I could reference. Okay, but I must say that like developing that discipline made me always want to seek and learn. And two, I feel like, man, for as long as I'm here, I want to learn. For as long as I'm on this earth, I want to learn and grow. So, and I get fulfilled learning. That's one of the reasons I love acting. That's one of the reasons I love traveling. That's one of the reasons I love being around smart people and good people, is because you not only learning like, okay, and you know, the intellectual things, but sometimes you learn how to be a good person, you know, being around good people. And those are also things that I really love to learn about. Yeah.
Jasmine?
Earlier you mentioned that you were among some artists that went to the White House to talk about prison reform and My Brother's Keeper. In Columbia, I'm actually starting a program to help the juvenile justice students there in Columbia learn how to read and learn job skills and things like that. But based on your meetings, what are some things that our juveniles need in order to be successful?
Excuse me, good question. And some of the things, you know, and we didn't come up with all the solutions, but some of the things that I think, from my perspective, that young people need is, first of all, we want to prevent people from going to jail, younger people. We want to prevent people from going to jail. So I think just reaching out education-wise and program-wise is one of the first things. I was talking to somebody from our Common Ground Foundation she was telling me, like, she was saying, you know, school doesn't feel like they care about us anymore. So it doesn't make you enthused to go. Like some of her friends don't feel enthused about school because they don't feel like the educational programs don't care. They hearing that chatter, they closing schools. It just doesn't look like people care. And she said a statement that was like, you want to know that people care about your future. And I think when she said that to me, it was like, wow, this is part of one of the ways that we have to let young people know we care about their future by coming up with fresh ways to educate them, coming up with programs outside of school that's going to be developing them. So once we get that's one way I think of preventing people from going to jail. Job opportunities is another thing, because most young people I talk to always talk about, they say, I want to get money, because that's some of their heroes they see with money. And just for survival purposes, they want to get money. Jobs is one of the things that I've worked with Starbucks actually recently to do a 100,000 job initiative, which we started in Chicago. And one of the biggest joys I had was we were filming a show in a tough neighborhood in Chicago, and this girl and her friend walked past me and said, Carmen, I'm coming from the job that we got from at your job initiative place. So that was like, I felt hope like when I saw that, and she came and said that. So jobs will really help. The system, like knowing political people, this is something we really was getting into, was like, it's up to us to know what people like are represented in our state and local governments so that we can get the right people in to get the right laws. Because a lot of laws that's imprisoning young black and brown people, those laws are focused on imprisoning young black and brown people. Mm-hmm. So we have to change, like get political people that will change that. And some of that starts with the local and state politics and really identifying those people. Another thing that I think can help is with re-entry from prison, we got to start educating people earlier before they before they come out. Because when they come out of prison, it's a shock to them. It's a shock. Like, things have changed in our neighborhoods within a year, probably every 4 or 5 months. Can you imagine being in a prison and being part of that culture for 10 years, and then just being let out and saying, okay, go get a job and go survive. Well, half the people won't hire you. You don't know where you're gonna live. You may not have family. Okay, we have to have programs that start educating them before they even get out. That was something that I did, not that I came up with. I talked to actually a state's attorney, the new state's attorney in Chicago named Kim Fox, and she's been real adamant of, working within the community. She's from a tough neighborhood, Cabrini Green in Chicago, so I got a lot of faith in that she cares about the people. And that was one of the things that she brought up that I thought was important because, coming back into the world is that's a tough position to be in. So just educating people from that standpoint is it. So as I said, you could be part of the change. You can vote, you can come up with programs and support programs that are doing things to help develop youth. So you can be part of that change.
Thank you for a very comprehensive answer.
Thank you.
As you mentioned, you grew up in a less than favorable environment. How did you stop yourself from getting complacent and happy with, okay with your situation? And how did you get hungry enough to, grow from that?
Well, I have to be honest. I wouldn't call my environment less than favorable. I think, I had a wonderful family from my mother to my stepfather to my family, which is super important. So that was favorable. And we had, God in the house and we had opportunities. But I was surrounded by the opportunities also to go in a less favorable place. And you asked, how did I get through that or not make those choices?
Yeah, how did you overcome those obstacles?
Well, I think that came from me just saying, oh, wait, I just seen this person go to jail. I just seen this person die. I just seen this person get shot and get beat. And it wasn't far. I had friends that have been shot and killed. I have friends that have been shot. I myself would get into fights. And it was you come home with a nice good ass kicking, right? When you come home with that, excuse me, Mom, for cursing. You come home with a nice butt whipping. You don't really want that too much more. It's one of those things. So basically, I was able to get enough experience into the things that I didn't want to see the things that I do want. And I was that helped me out. So, and I'm not saying that to say you need to go out in the streets and fill out what the streets is like and say, oh man, I don't need to be burnt. You don't have to be burnt by fire now. You can see people going through it. And I think, you've already shown yourself. I mean, you're getting straight A's. I need to be asking you questions. So, I mean, I think it's just focusing on the things that you really want to do. And you do know we're going to make mistakes. You just hope that those mistakes are not the detrimental mistakes.
Mackenzie, last question before we transition to audience Q&A.
We've talked about how busy you are and how accomplished you are. How do you remain balanced and not overwhelmed and stressed?
Well, one of the ways is I really take some time to myself. Even if I get 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'll just take that time to go just be with myself, and I can appreciate that in itself, right? But also, I think one of the most important things is I enjoy what I do a lot. I really enjoy creating music and being reading scripts and doing scenes and talking about what's the new film we want to do and working on those things and ideas even for marketing. I like talking to I enjoy it. I want to do it. I wake up thinking about those things. So that it makes it easier for me to dedicate my time to it. And when I need a break, I'll go watch the game. I go out to dinner with friends, go to the movies. I love going to the movies. And I think I've learned, this has been an evolution to really make use of my time, really just not waste. I don't waste time with people I don't want to spend time with. I don't, for real, I'm just I'm not sitting here with that. I'm just I'm just, I feel like time is we gifted to be living on this earth, so I just make use of my time, and I focus on the work, and I enjoy the work, so that's where that dedication and commitment comes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have time for a couple of questions. I think we have microphones over there and one over there. So someone. Yes, sir.
Hey guys, my name is Kareem Abelnaga. I'm the founder and CEO of Practice Makes Perfect. I'm common. So I grew up and went through some of New York City's most struggling inner city public schools, and we'd always have a speaker come in. There'd be 500 to 1,000 of us in an auditorium, and they'd say, "Reach for the stars because the sky's the limit. If you dream it, you can be it." And then you look around the auditorium, and it's this idea that, yeah, anyone can make it, but is everyone really going to make it? And what sort of message do you share so that that mindset doesn't permeate after you leave?
So that which mindset doesn't permeate the one that
anyone can make it, but everyone isn't going to.
Well, I don't subscribe to that everyone isn't going to, because first, I believe that everyone can make it. It's just people got to define what making it is for them. You got to know what making it is for you, and then you can be like, okay, yeah. But that making it is going to come from have I made it? I don't feel like I've made it. I'm still working to develop and grow and be like, okay, there's new things I got to do. There's more work to be done. But I still know I've identified things in ways that I can feel like I've accomplished some things and made some things. But I think we make it by setting a goal, whatever that goal may be, and knowing that purpose is yours, and really fulfilling that purpose. I mean, that's what making it to me would be. But you gotta define it. That person has to define it. And I would tell every kid in the school or every person in this ballroom right now that we all can make it. We all will make it. That's just my belief.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yes. Hi, Common. My name's Daryl Adams. I'm a school superintendent. Some call me the rock and roll superintendent because I was in the music field like you were back in the 80s.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look us up. It's called Xavion, and the record was called Eat Your Heart Out.
Okay. Sing some of it.
Yes, sir. Hey, I can do that. But I have written a lot of music lately because being a superintendent, I still have my love and passion for music. And actually, my album is going to come out next year. It's called Music to Soothe the Common Soul. So I want to know, how can I get that to you, and how can you help me? How can you help me help students? Because the music is about inspiration. It's about all the trials and tribulations I went to. I've been fired before, and if it wasn't for being fired, I never would have got back to my music, to my true passion in life.
Right.
So I want to work with people like you to help educate more people, more students. They can do it. In our district, we provide Wi-Fi routers on buses so kids can connect in trailer home parks where they have no connections. And so for us, the whole nation, every student should have a device and should be connected so they can be educated and help change the world. Right. I want to work with you and artists like you and others to help that become true to life.
Okay, well, first I'd like to say, I'd like to salute you for the work you are doing as an educator. And second, I recognize you shopping your demo right now. That's what you really doing. And I ain't mad at that, because that's what you got to do. Yes, but I think you could talk to my assistant if you want to connect as far as just us hearing what you're doing. But I think probably more than I would know how to educate the youth on it. But use your music, pull in great people to support what you're doing, and I think you're doing the thing. But the gist of your question was you was letting me know you got music and you want me to hear that. I get it. It's all love, bro.
Hey, they're shaving my blanket.
Over there.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Amira Cummins, and I'm currently in the Education Entrepreneurship Program at Penn. I am developing a project-based curriculum that's going to be delivered in 4 different languages to students at the same time. And I decided that I wanted to put it in inner-city urban schools around the world as opposed to in affluent neighborhoods. And I've gotten a lot of interest outside of our community, but I guess my question, or my ideal situation would be for the hip hop community to pretty much come together. I think we have enough equity, enough wealth in our own community to change it from within. But my question to you is, do you think that there's an appetite for a collective conscience for us to come around education and start to turn our communities into what we want them to be from within, as opposed to, philanthropists or VCs kind of coming in and putting that capital in for us to change it from within ourselves?
Yeah, I do believe it's very much an appetite. You know why it's an appetite? Because people are hungry. People are hungry for a peace of mind. People are hungry for jobs and opportunities. So that appetite is real strong. When you working to survive and you around a lot of death and just, lack of opportunity, and it's dark sometimes. When I go to home, sometimes I drive around, I'm like, man, it's just, I can look at certain places and it feel like a third world country, like certain areas to me. So do people want opportunities and do they want jobs and food? I'm using food literally and figuratively, yes. And I think where we don't see the movement in that is not many community organizers and people that come in with the same agenda. One of the most important things that we got out of the meeting with the president was, hey, we all can be a part of the same agenda, and that can help. At least we identify certain things we want to change and make those steps towards the change. But if we got all this stuff going on, and then we don't know what's the next step to change the laws or change the community, I'm saying for ourselves, then really at that point we've kind of stalled, because after the marches, what goes on? What happens after the marches? And we gotta have some organizers that are gonna do that. So maybe you're one of the organizers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Last question from the audience.
Hi, I'm Deirdre DeAngelis. I'm a New York City public school, high school principal. And I was fortunate enough to be at Hamilton last week with 1,200 students from the city public schools. And I was wondering if you spoke to Lynn Miranda about his experience that day, because 149 students from my school had a life-changing experience. And I don't think their feet have touched the ground since then. So I want to thank you, and just, I was wondering if you heard from him.
Actually, no, but I think that's wonderful that you were able to take the kids into what you just described. I feel like I think, for some of us in here who are educators and have the power to gather our kids, and maybe we should provide them that opportunity to see Hamilton. I know everybody is not in New York, but it's just a fulfilling thing just for kids to, like I said, if it made a grown man feel a part of American history and feel more American, it'll make kids feel like they're more American and know who they are. So I commend you and say that's great that you were able to take them. I haven't talked to Lynn. He's winning Grammys and Pulitzer Prizes and J.J. Abrams, who does Star Wars, and all these people on his line. So he looks at my call and is like, I'll talk to him later.
Well, we had 4 students that actually performed on the stage.
Oh, wow.
And, the whole cast watched all 12 schools represented in small raps and skits right on stage.
Oh, that's cool.
It was
that's
awesome.
Real cool. That's excellent.
So I want to begin by thanking our students, Jasmine.
Great job, dog.
And for those of you I get my pitch, who want to hear more about the student voice, especially in personalized learning, there'll be a panel tomorrow at 10 a.m. where they'll be engaging and audience questions. And finally, Common, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, good job.